Hello, staff. My name is Mrs. Milligan. I teach art here at Medalon. If you are new to Medalon, I'm happy that you're here. We are doing a professional development activity, and the first thing that you're going to need to do is take a name tag and put your full name, please, and then put what position you teach, or if you are in the office, or just whatever your position is, please. And we are doing something that is not my lesson. It comes from her name is Cassie Stevens. It's actually not her lesson either, that she got from somewhere else, but it's inspired by the book The Wild Card, and I actually read this book on my Kindle last year. I would highly recommend it. And her principal, Cassie Stevens, and she teaches in Nashville, Tennessee. She's been teaching for over 20 years. I follow her on her blog, and she has written a couple books, just very inspiring. But her principal asked her to do something like this, and she found the lesson somewhere else, and I can't remember. I have it on my Google slide. And so you're going to take your quote, which you're supposed to come with you, have with you, and it doesn't matter if you forgot to print it out, if you have it on your phone. You're going to be doing something later with a Sharpie, because we are fancy, we have a Sharpie. And I'm going to go through a couple different things. You're going to first have a canvas, and on the back you're going to write your name, use a pen, and you already got your name tag on. And then you're going to be introduced to, if you remember, it was painting with Miss Paula. This is Miss Paula. She's one of my best friends. And you're going to be using acrylic paints. And you have 6 colors. And we probably will not be sitting because we have a lot of people. I wanted you to cram in here, but that's okay. You're going to have a tray. And you will have a messy mat that's underneath. You can see how messy mine is. And then you will have a tray that will be in the center, or we will just move stuff and have it on the mats if we need to, if it's not enough space. And if you see it's already dirty, that's fine. 1 brush will be used per color, so you don't have to wash your brushes. And when you're done after using your brush, you can set it down here on the mat. Probably be the best thing to do. Or set it beside your canvas if you need to, because we're going to be doing something special. I'm going to give you some hints on Miss Paula. She cannot swim, which you're not using water. That's okay. So we never leave her in the water because that would make her head fall off. Another thing is you never have your fingers in the danger zone. We have them up above. She's a ballerina. We dip the tip. She only likes the tip of her hair highlighted. Okay. These are a couple things that I talk about with my kids. And I'm going to get you started on the lesson in just a second. I've changed the view of the camera, and I wanted to explain to you that I flip my classroom, meaning if you want to get on my YouTube channel, you can. It's Mrs. Milligan's Art Studio. For all the lessons that I do with my students, typically I will record the video first and then play it for all the classes. It just helps with consistency. It helps me be able to get stuff out. I can walk around and work with the students, and I've been doing this for probably going on 5 years. So what I'm doing, I usually use this view. You don't see me in the video. And so you have everything set up. We talked about Miss Paula. And I know the first thing that I want to talk to you about, I know that it's probably hard for you to be here close to school starting. I don't want you to worry about this. I want you to have a great time. Another thing, I know it's hard to be a student. I'm not a good student by any means, but just have fun with this. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get 1 paintbrush, and you're sitting or standing in your chair, and I want you to do a little dot anywhere you want on your canvas, any color, okay? And I'm going to do 1 little dot. Now, we didn't paint the background because it would take too much time, and it's already has stuff on it. Mine doesn't even look like a dot. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's okay. Then here is the thing that you're not going to be happy with. You're going to return at the end to your canvas that you have your name on it. But right now you're going to rotate. So everybody say, rotate to the right, to the right, to the right. Okay. So get in your position. Now you're in a new chair or standing, and you are at a new canvas. Obviously I'm going to have 1 canvas because I'm not going to keep rotating. There's just me in here in my classroom. Then if you have a purple circle on yours, I would suggest getting a different color. And now you're going to do a bigger dot. And see how I just have the tip of the paint? And I'm going to do a big dot right here. I'm going to fill it in, okay, anywhere you want. And then, you guessed it, set your paintbrush down, And then everybody say, rotate. And we're going to the right, and you're staying where the two tables are, so you're not going all the way down the room. Okay, now the next thing that you're going to do, you've done a little dot, you've done a bigger dot. Now I want you to do a dot, another bigger dot, or we could do a circle around the dot. So I'm going to take this time, I'm going to do a circle around the dot. Okay, you might have to go back and get more acrylic. It does not have to be perfect. I like this right here because it kind of looks like an eyeball. Kind of offset it a little bit. All right, then we're going to do the same thing. Put this down, put the paintbrush down, and then, yes, you guessed it, you're going to rotate. And you're going to go to the right, to the right. Here we go. And maybe I'm going to have you do a ginormous circle. Okay? So I like to have the illusion of it going off of my canvas. Okay? And I'm going to make a ginormous circle. Okay? I'm going to fill that in. Now your goal here, amazing artists, that's what I call my students. They are all amazing artists. They're at different levels. You're going to end up back at your canvas at the end, but your goal here is to fill everything in. Okay, now the next color that we're going to have, and you can come back and do as many things as you want at the end. Now I want you to do some squiggly lines. Okay, I'm going to do some green, and you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do some squiggly lines. Now these lines, I get more paint, can be squiggly, they can be curvy, whatever you want. They can go off the canvas, stay on the canvas. All right, and then you guessed it, after you've done your squiggly curvy line, put your brush down and rotate. That's right, to the right, to the right. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to go back and do, and like I said, I could have done 2 circles here. I'm going to grab my purple and I'm going to put more little dots, and you'll be able to do this at the end. So if you're at another person's canvas, go ahead, add more in if you want to. Okay, and then I'm going to set that aside. I think I'm going to do another one of those turquoise circles. And maybe that's what we should start with. This is what always happens when I do a lesson. That, of course, is why I do it before, because you can ask my students, I'm always changing my mind, changing what I like. I think I like that better. And then maybe I want to come back in. Oops. Brushes are rolling around everywhere else. Do another big pink circle. Now, in my classroom, we know that we do not mix because everybody is sharing these paintbrushes. Okay. Now, another thing that you could add is some, oh, I haven't done yellow, is some dashed lines. Now, you know yellow is the lightest color that we have out, and it might be hard to cover or to see. And you can do these lines wherever you want, wherever you're feeling it. Okay? You are the artist. Maybe you want to continue that up here. And like I said, you are going to be rotating. That's what's cool about this, is everybody's sharing. You're not going to want to put your paint on paint where it's already wet. And I'm just dipping. There's my zigzag, adding my colors. So I will probably have little sticks. That's what I did at camp that I taught this past summer. I had little popsicle sticks, and I would pull them out, and I would say, okay, we're going to do an ocean wave, we're going to do vertical, we're going to do spiral, we're going to do wavy, we're going to do shapes. Okay, I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to have it all filled up. Now, if you get back to your spot, but I want to add more. If you get back to your spot and you think, you know what, this is pretty good, then you're going to stop there, and you're going to have to let it dry before you add your quote. Let me pause it for a second. I'm back. As you can see, I added a bunch to it. Acrylic usually dries really quick. It's kind of clumpy and where it's thicker, which is fine, it's going to take a little bit more time to dry. Now what I wanted to show you is while you're waiting on this, you can very carefully set this aside, clean up the brushes, or give them to me and I can take care of them. You can take your quote. Now you have some choices. I have cut mine into little strips, okay? And it is, I am here to inspire you to be the best person and artist that you can be. Now, these, I would put them on there. You can decide how you want to hang this in your room. This is sitting horizontal. You can have it be sitting vertical. I think I like the vertical, actually. I don't know. Anyways, like I said, I'll change my mind, I'm sure. But you can go ahead and cut that out into strips if you want. This is if you're going to use Mod Podge. Now, this is Mod Podge. It stinks. That's what I tell my kids, so don't stick your nose in the container. You will have little containers, and I'm filling, it might have little boogers on them is what we call them. I'm filling what I have already in the containers, or I'll get some extras if we need them. And this dries clear, and it's actually glossy. So this is if you want to take your quote, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. I'm explaining it while it's drying. You will take your sponge brush. Please do not use my regular Miss Paula's because it will destroy the brush. So you will take and use your Mod Podge, and it's basically, it's a sealant, it's a glue if you've ever used it before, and you can put that on there, and so we'll do that the next step. But like I said, we're going to have to wait so you can get to know the person around you, ask me some questions if you need some help with some things. So that will be our little pause in our lesson here. One more thing I want to show you the different options if you don't want to use Mod Podge and you don't want to use your printed paper. While you're waiting, you can wave this to get it dry because you don't want to put anything on there while it's wet. You also don't have to finish this in here. If you have a Sharpie that you want, and I call them Sharpies because we're fancy as an artist. I like to make things sound silly because silly sticks and kids remember it. So you have an option of just freehanding it if you like your penmanship and you already have it out there. Like I said, you don't have to do this in the room today if you want to. Or you can take a pencil, write out your quote. You know, your quote is whatever you want it to be, and then you go over with the Sharpie. Okay, it's finally dry, and like I said, this is if you want to do a Mod Podge. This is how to do the Mod Podge. If you're doing the Sharpie, all you would have to do is take a Sharpie, and if it's dry, you know, test it out on this messy mat or get a scrap paper and get it for you. But think about placement if you are using this. You know, set this out, make sure you have it in the right order if you cut it in different little pieces. Maybe you want to have this over here, maybe you want to have, you know, and if you don't like what you printed out, then don't use it because like I said, you can take and do this later on your own in your classroom. So here I am here to inspire you to be the best person and artist you can be. And I kind of like that. I like how this turned out, like it looks like a sunshine. And it took quite a bit of time to dry, so we'll see. Then you're going to dip this in the Mod Podge and you're going to go over it. And I actually think you want to put a little bit down first. So put a little bit down first, and then go over it. And it acts as glue. And then, after you've done that, I'm going to go ahead and do this other side here too. You can do the whole canvas. So paint the whole canvas. I got a glob on there. That's okay. Go brush over it. Now I'm going to show you something. You can see where my purple, and it doesn't bother me, my purple was actually not dry all the way. So a little bit of smeared on the pink. I'm okay with that. And it looks a little milky, but it will actually dry clear. So I'm going to put this down here just a little bit. There's my yellow again, did the same thing. Like I said, I just think it looks more abstract. And so then I'm going all the way over this. And you can just do this in the beginning and then cover your canvas later when you know that it's dry. And I have these little cups if you would like to borrow them and return them if we don't have time, because I know we're supposed to be going to lunch after this. And this is only if you wanted to do the Mod Podge. Otherwise, you could absolutely finish this in your own classroom. And you will be getting PD hours for this. Make sure you keep track of those. And hopefully you enjoyed this activity. And it was nice having you in my room.